If you're a sleep consultant who's fully booked but quietly wondering how long you can keep this going, you are not alone. So by the end of this video, you are going to understand why even the best sleep consultants hit a wall and the exact model that breaks through it. So let me tell you about Cher, one of my clients. I sat down with her recently and she said something to me that I hear all of the time, and that's that she was starting to lose the love for helping parents. And that's the part that nobody talks about. Not just burnout, but falling out of love with the work that you have built your whole identity around. And here's the thing, the one-to-one model doesn't reward you for being good. The better you get, the more people want you. And the more people want you, the less time you have. And this is what I call the time trap. So your income is directly tied to your availability. You're either fully booked and running nonstop, or you're constantly hustling to fill your calendar. Different problems, same outcome, and that's burnout. But Cher, she rebuilt her business using what I call the sustainable group coaching model. And now she's taking time off that she couldn't take before, and she's got her love back for her work. Okay, so I'm Emma, founder of Baby M, and honestly, I know exactly how Cher was feeling because in the early days of my business, I was working around the clock and I actually had a company interested in buying Baby M and I was one signature away from selling it. And not because I wanted to sell, but because I was so burnt out, I couldn't see how to keep going, but I rebuilt it differently. And that's the same model that I teach inside of Scale and Thrive. Because here's what Cher figured out and what so many of my clients have figured out. The problem isn't you. It's the model. Okay, so let me paint a picture of where Cher was. When we talked, she walked me through what life looked like for her. Really stressed, 2 young kids, working constantly, and it was affecting her physically. And here's the worst part. She'd left her corporate job because of the stress and she didn't have time for her kids. And now she was running her own business and her kids were in holiday clubs and she was still trying to keep on top of her work. She'd escaped one trap and basically she'd built another one. And she said, I just felt like I couldn't give anymore. I was on the verge of a breakdown. Here's what actually happens with a one-to-one model. You're a chef making custom meals. Every client gets a 5-course dinner made from scratch. You pour your skill into every single dish. And here's the problem. You can only make so many meals per day. And if you stop cooking, the restaurant closes. And even when Cher was on holiday, she was still working, checking messages, responding to parents. She was never, ever off. And that's not a business. That's a job with a beach view. You hit a ceiling. And it's not because you're not good enough, but because the model has a hard limit built in. So you have 2 options, work more hours and burn out, or you change the model. And actually, I think most people choose option 1. They become their own worst boss. And when you can reach anyone online and build real community from your laptop, staying stuck in a one-to-one model isn't dedication, it's just ignoring another way. So what's the alternative? It's what I call the sustainable group coaching model. And it's built on 3 pillars: curriculum, coaching, community, the 3 C's. But here's something important. This only works if you're clear on who you serve, real specificity, not any family who needs sleep support, not babies or toddlers, one clear type of family, one clear problem. And what I know from Cher is that she is a deeply responsive, gentle sleep consultant. And within her group coaching program, where she adopted this model, we really drilled down into supporting families who were unsettled. Those families that had Velcro babies, those babies who struggled to switch off, who needed constant closeness. That really had an impact on families. And she knew the stresses and strains that parents face because she had lived that. She had personal experience of having that unsettled Velcro baby. And she also had a lot of professional experience as well. So she had the deep intel. And so she was able to help those families go from feeling exhausted and tapped out to helping them deeply understand how to support their child and the tools that would actually work with them and have them in a community together. And when you work like that, you niche down, it is so powerful because you get clarity. You're no longer trying to be everything to everyone. You're becoming deeply effective for a specific type of person. Let me break down these 3 pillars. So here's the shift. So your clients don't need more information. They can Google that. They can ask ChatGPT. What they need is transformation. They're exhausted, they're overwhelmed, they're stuck, and they're hoping that you can get them somewhere better. Okay, so curriculum. So remember the chef? here's what changes. Instead of making every meal from scratch, you create the recipe book. You document your process, the step-by-step journey that takes a parent from where they are right now, so in pain, to where they want to be. So you're focusing on transformation. You are not focusing on information. And your curriculum becomes a self-study programs that parents can access at any point. So if they need you at 3 a.m., they don't have to wait for that one-to-one call. The answer is there. And here's what's powerful. You're not repeating the same thing over and over again. But here's the thing. Information alone isn't enough to create change. People need guidance. So what you want to do is you want to add in weekly coaching calls. So same time, same place, and you answer questions, you troubleshoot, you provide support around your framework. But instead of helping one parent at a time, you're now helping 10, 15, 20, 30 families at once. But you're not repeating yourself because everyone on that call is on a similar journey, seeking the same transformation. When Cher looked at the numbers, she was working significantly less hours than if she had been working with all of those families on a one-to-one basis. Okay, so let's think about community. So when you're working through challenges alone, it's easy to think that you're the only one struggling. But when you create community, so somewhere like Facebook, everything shifts. And here's why. Humans are tribal by nature. For thousands of years, we survived in groups. So when you're alone with a problem, your brain interprets it as life-threatening. But when you see someone else went through it and survived, your nervous system calms down. So to relate this to working with parents, someone posts at 2 a.m. and they say, "We've had a really rough night. I'm struggling." And then another parent who went through the exact thing last week jumps in and they share encouragement, they share hope, their experience. That peer support is incredibly powerful. And not because it's nice, it's because it's biological. And as your program grows, the clients who've already achieved the transformation, well, they become your biggest cheerleaders. They love encouraging others. It's human nature. And so you're not the only person providing support anymore. You have ambassadors who inspire and guide. And I remember Cher saying that one thing that she found incredibly surprising and interesting is that parents didn't need her as much as she thought they would. When things were going well, they'd disappear and then they would pop back when challenges came up. And remember, she had such a brilliant curriculum. There was so much support for these parents that they were able to dip in and out. And so it was far less time intensive than she had actually expected. And so this isn't about doing less for families. It's about designing support that works with real life, not against it. This is sustainable, and it's sustainable for you and for them. So what happened when Cher built her program? She told me that babies who had joined at 5 months are now 15 months old. And she said that she's been able to work with them through that journey. And that was incredibly powerful. And you see, that's the power of a model that isn't constrained by packages and time limits. When a baby gets sick or is teething, the parent doesn't panic because their package is ending. They have ongoing support. They can slow down. They can keep coming back. And what's amazing is that Cher gets messages all of the time from clients saying, "This was life-changing for me. We were on the verge of sleep training, and this gave us everything we needed." Her clients are getting better results, and she is working less. So where's Cher today? In less than a year, she went from burnout to financial freedom and actually feeling confident about her business. And she's taking real time off for Christmas, actually off. And that's what happens when you build a business that works without you in it every second. And here's what she said to me, and it really stuck with me. She said, "I'm not going to get to my graveside and wish I had more money, but I am going to wish I had more time with my kids." That's what this is really about. If you're already working this hard, you don't need more effort. You need a structure that actually works. And right now, your expertise is stuck in a model that can't scale without breaking you. Time off without working, boundaries without guilt, long-term relationships where you actually see the full transformation. That's what this model makes possible. And I teach this exact system in my free masterclass. The link's in the description. And if you've been listening to this and it really resonates, then you can book a call directly with me and we can map out where you are right now in your business and where you want to get to. So you can click the link below and we can schedule that call, because you don't have to choose between supporting families and having a life. Cher didn't, and neither do you. In my next video, I'm breaking down why specificity is the secret to filling your program. So hit subscribe so you don't miss it. And thank you once again for being here. Speak soon.